today's intimacy tip is a good one, and it has to do with Gary Chapman's 5 love languages. So I'm going to talk to you about the love languages. Most people are familiar with these. I'm going to tell you how I really feel about them and how you can make them work for you. So if you are unfamiliar with Gary Chapman's 5 love languages, I'm going to tell you what they each are. They are words of affirmation, acts of service, quality time, gifts, and physical touch. Those are the 5 areas in which we give or receive love. So a lot of people just kind of do the things that they understand to be loving for their partner. And here is the amazing thing about love languages. Imagine if you spoke Russian and you are trying to speak to somebody who spoke Portuguese, and you're talking, and they're just not understanding. They're not getting anything from the conversation. This is what it's like for somebody whose love language is acts of service, and you keep giving them words of affirmation. It's not that it's not a loving thing to do. It's just that sometimes they might not recognize that you're showing love for them in that way. So we oftentimes get frustrated if we keep doing something for our spouse and they're not appreciating it or recognizing it because maybe it's not their love language. So it is very valuable to understand what these 5 love languages are and how to use them in order to build up the emotional and physical intimacy in our relationships. So I have a worksheet that you can do that I will post a link to below. It's actually a challenge. It's really fun. If you're willing to take the time to do it, it's a challenge that gets emailed to you absolutely for free, and it just gives you some ideas every single day about how to figure out your spouse's primary love language. And I'm doing this for you leading up to Valentine's Day, because if you know your partner's primary love language on Valentine's Day, that is going to do a lot for you. And a lot of people are like, well, I already know what my love language is. I know what my spouse's love language is. It's not that big of a deal. But here's the thing. Love languages change over time. For example, when I was in the thick of raising young children, my love language was solidly acts of service, right? I was like, can you just do the dishes or change a diaper, bring home dinner? That would make me feel so loved. But now that my children are older and I've regained a lot of my sanity, my love language is words of affirmation. If you will just tell me the ways in which you love and appreciate me, that would make me feel so loved and seen by you. So even though we think we might already know our partner's love language, it's always good to test it out after a number of years and see if maybe it might have changed. So today's challenge, an intimacy tip for you, is to revisit love languages. Figure out what your love language is and figure out what your spouse's love language is. And that way you will have a jump start on Valentine's Day. You'll be able to do things that show your spouse that you love and appreciate them in their primary love language. So it will be even more powerful. And a lot of people say, Monica, that's just not natural for me. My spouse's love language is just not something that I naturally do. Well, I have had tons of clients that have actually Googled how to show love for your spouse in blank love language and gotten all kinds of fantastic ideas, things that they can actually do to show love for their partner in their primary love language. And especially if your spouse knows that it's not something that comes natural to you, they will appreciate that even more. So thank you so much for coming to this Wednesday intimacy tip. If you like these trainings, be sure to subscribe, go to the podcast, the YouTube channel, all the places where you can get these awesome tips, trainings, and interviews for strengthening your marriage and deepening your intimacy. And I will see you same time, same place next week. Bye for now. Learn more ways to deepen your intimacy and strengthen your relationship. Make sure you watch this video next